So if you're gearing up for a business analysis certification, you know the BABOK guide can feel, well, a little intimidating. It's dense, right? In this explainer, we're going to crack it open and turn it from this massive textbook into a clear, simple blueprint that you can actually use to nail your exam and honestly just be better at your job. Let's get into it. It's a huge question, isn't it? You're juggling stakeholders, requirements, processes, technology. It can feel like total chaos sometimes. Well, the answer, the thing that brings order to that chaos, is having a really solid framework. And that's exactly what the business analysis body of knowledge, the BABOK guide, gives us. It provides the structure we desperately need. So here's how we're going to break it all down today. First, we'll look at the big picture, the blueprint itself. Then we're going to dive into 4 key parts: the lenses you look through, the actions you take, the tools you use to get it done, and finally, the skills you need to pull it all together. Okay, first things first, let's talk about why this guide is such a big deal. The best way to think about it is like it's the architectural drawings for the entire business analysis profession. Now, this is the key thing to remember. This isn't just some book. It's a global standard. It gives all of us a shared language and a consistent way of working. So if you're studying for certification, understanding this framework isn't just kind of helpful. It's everything. It's literally the foundation the exam is built on. All right, let's get into our first core component. We're going to start at a pretty high level with something called perspectives. These are basically the different strategic lenses you can pop on to view your work. And this definition really nails it. A perspective isn't about learning a whole new set of rules. It's about focusing your toolkit. It's kind of like putting on different glasses for a specific job. You might put on your agile glasses for one project, or your business intelligence glasses for another. They just help you tailor your approach to what's right in front of you. The guide lays out these 5 main perspectives, and you will almost definitely see these in your work and, you guessed it, on your exam. Now, these aren't the only ones in the universe, but they are by far the most common situations you'll find yourself in as a business analyst. Knowing which lens to apply is a really critical skill. You want to know what's awesome about this slide? The consistency. Every single perspective in the guide is broken down using this exact same structure. For studying, this is a secret weapon. Once you get this pattern down, you can break down any perspective in a really systematic way. Okay, so we've looked through our lenses. Now it's time to talk about the actual doing, the work itself. And that brings us to tasks, which are the absolute core activities of any business analyst. Yep. Tasks are the bread and butter of what we do. They're the fundamental actions, things like plan business analysis approach or elicit requirements. The BABOK guide neatly groups these into related knowledge areas, which creates this amazing logical map of the whole BA process from start to finish. And hey, look at that. Just like with perspectives, every single task in the guide follows a predictable pattern. Now, if you're prepping for an exam, this slide is pure gold. You've got the purpose, the inputs you need to start, the core elements of the work, and the outputs you create. If you can picture this structure for every task, you are well on your way to mastering the material. So, we've got our perspective chosen, and we know the task we need to do. What's the next logical question? How do I actually do it? That, my friends, is where techniques come in. I love this slide because it's just the simplest, clearest way to remember the difference. It's so important. A task is what you need to get done. A technique is how you're going to do it. So, for example, brainstorming. That's a technique you might use for the task of eliciting requirements. See? What versus how. And that's exactly how the guide puts it. It gives you a whole toolbox, 50 different techniques to be precise. But here's the thing, it also makes it clear that the list isn't the be-all and end-all. As a BA, you can adapt them or use totally different ones. The real skill is knowing which tool is right for the job. And there it is again, that beautiful logical structure. We love to see it. Every single technique is broken down by its purpose, what it is, its key parts, and this is super important, its usage considerations. That last bit helps you understand the pros and cons of each one, so you can make smarter choices. So, we've covered the views, the actions, and the tools. But you know what? None of that means a thing without the right person actually using them. And that brings us to the final, and maybe most important piece of the puzzle, the underlying competencies. Let's just read this definition right from the guide because it's perfect. Underlying competencies reflect knowledge, skills, behaviors, characteristics, and personal qualities that help one successfully perform the role of the business analyst. See, this is about more than just a process. This is about you. It's about how you communicate, how you think, and your business savvy. And you know, Even these soft skills get a clear structure. The guide defines each competency, explains its purpose, and this is huge. It gives you effectiveness measures. This gives you a clear way to actually measure your own skills, which is just incredibly valuable for your own career growth. And that's really it. When you put it all together, the perspectives that frame your view, the tasks you do, the techniques you use, and the competencies you have, you get this complete, logical, and really powerful blueprint for our entire profession. It's a system where every single piece just connects to the next. So as we finish up, I want to leave you with this question. Think back to those underlying competencies, things like analytical thinking, communication, leadership. Which one of those is your personal superpower? Really think about it, because understanding your strengths inside this framework, that's the first real step to mastering it.